I'm not a natural runner. In fact, if you went back to senior school and asked my friends if I liked running, they'd tell you I hated it. You see, back then I did a couch to 5K and I was always that one person at the back slowing down the whole bunch. One member of staff would never get to run more than 2K because they'd be at the back with me. I'd make a fuss, I'd be walking. Throughout puberty, I had a few growth spurts, which made my knees weak and I'd be in pain, and I never felt like I was that good a runner, so I gave up. I labelled myself as someone who hated running. But I discovered a love for wildlife and the outdoors, and it's crazy how love can make you do things you never thought you'd do. So now here I am, having trained for the last 6 months for a 10K and then a half marathon later in the year, running for what I love, hoping to raise money to help wildlife. You see, I love the outdoors. I'm always in the outdoors, taking pictures of things in the outdoors, watching nature and appreciating it. It's my safe space, it's my happy space, it's where I come to reset. I'm so appreciative of God's creation, and because of that, I want to help restore it. There are so many wild animals at the moment suffering because of mankind, and whether it's our fault or not that they get trapped in our gardens or they get injured, I hope to raise money by doing this run to help restore, to help wildlife. And even if I have to commit myself to something I don't like, even if I have to torture myself for a couple of hours of running, we're going to do it as a commitment. If you're new here, my name's Toby. I make wildlife photography content here on YouTube that you guys can relate to and learn from, and in amongst that, I scatter a bunch of stuff around. This video is a little bit different because it's still about wildlife, but it's more about helping wildlife as opposed to just observing it. Throughout this video, there's going to be little prompts to go in the description. You see, normally I may prompt you to go and look at an item or something, but that doesn't have a real impact. Today, if I prompt you to look at the links in the description, I'm prompting you to help us make a difference, to make a change, to raise money for charity, to help wildlife from your own context. So, without further ado, in this video, we're going to talk about the training that I've gone through. We're going to talk about who we're raising money for, and you're going to hear some awesome testimonies. And then I've got to do something quite drastic before finally we go on the run. This run is happening on the 23rd of February, and if you want live updates as it happens, then go follow my Instagram. And with all that being said, I've got to go on a run. The first thing I have to do, especially before a run, is stretch. So I take a good 5 minutes to stretch out all my muscles. This is because the last thing I wanted during training or before the race was an injury, and I'm fortunate enough to say in the 6 months I've been running, although my legs may have ached at points, I have not had any injuries. My first run started on the 28th of June. It was a 3K run, and within 6 runs I built up to 5K. By the 18th run, I hit my first 8K, and it was my 25th run that was my first 10K. My average pace varied between 4 minutes 44 per kilometre and 5 minutes 46 per kilometre. I always prioritised running at a good pace, so I knew that on the race day I'd be prepared. I ran through forests, along roads, on beaches at sunrise, and honestly loved getting outdoors on a regular basis for a good hour run. And although I've been training through the winter, shirts and shorts have kept me plenty warm. Maybe because I'm used to being outdoors, so I don't get too cold anyway. I didn't buy any specialist equipment for the run. I run in a couple of sports shirts that I already had, and some shorts that again I just already had in my wardrobe. My trainers were just regular trainers, and they fell apart the other week. So, just before the race, I am now having to run in new trainers, which makes it more challenging as I have to adjust my running style for the new shoes. Nonetheless, I'm confident we'll be okay.
Heading 70 miles down the west coast, we arrive in Chichester, which is where Brent Lodge Wildlife Hospital are based. This is a wildlife hospital I hold close to my heart and have worked with on a couple of occasions. They take in about 3,500 to 4,000 patients every year, helping to restore wild animals that have been injured. Today, we got a chance to go into the hospital itself and to take a look at some of the patients.
Would you like a hedgehog out?
A hedgehog out would be really cool.
Of course I can.
Yeah. So, what's the story been for these hedgehogs when it comes to recovery in Brent Lodge?
So, mainly for our ones that have been found out during the day or have been brought in through obviously being abandoned. Most of the time it is just gaining weight back up for them, and any health problems get treated. But mostly it's just getting them up to a healthy weight, and yeah.
That's really cool. And are these ones making good progress?
All this section here, they've all been microchipped, so we microchip our hedgehogs, so if they do come back, we know if it's the same hedgehog or not.
Yep.
And he is a nice 779 grams, so he's perfect, and he's been waiting to be released this week.
That's really cool.
Yes.
Oh, he's so cute.
Right, come on you. Just get your either side. It's all wet underneath as well, it's cold. It's actually liquid because it's in there, so are you okay with back end, front end? So we work 365 days a year and we don't shut, and I was called in to work on Christmas Day to actually 3 patients, a blackbird and 2 tawny owls, so it's a bit of a busy day as Christmas days go. But one specific tawny owl was found quite literally hanging by its neck in barbed wire fencing. The gentleman actually couldn't physically get the bird off the fencing, so cut the fence and brought it in. Fence and all. And when I got it here, we gave it immediate pain relief, obviously, because it looks quite horrendous. And I couldn't untangle it without it being, you know, sometimes you can just unhook it and go, right, that's okay. And it just wasn't that simple. So our vet nurse got called in on Christmas Day, bless her. And like I say, we were all on call. So she came in and under a general anaesthetic of the guidance of our vet as well. The veterinary team got on with that, unhooked the barbed wire fencing, which actually looked a lot worse than it was, I suppose, but when they're conscious and they're not happy, it's not very easy to navigate. So at first there was a lot of swelling in the throat, so he didn't want to swallow food, understandably, so there's a lot of antibiotics involved and a lot of pain relief, but he's doing well, eating by himself, and yeah, he's doing brilliantly. And it was a case of cleaning the wound up, a few quick surgical staples, and he has recovered beautifully. He's now in our outside aviary, awaiting release literally any day now. So it's really good. Yeah.
That's really cool. Thank you so much for sharing that story. It's really encouraging to hear that when you see wildlife and you think there's no hope, that they can come to a place like this and receive treatment to be released this month. And in this box, although you may not be able to see it, is the recovered tawny owl. And it's success stories like this which inspire me to go and do this run and start a fundraiser for wildlife charities like Brent Lodge Wildlife Hospital. If you want to get involved, you can use the links in the description to go to the fundraiser and show your support. For more information on how this fundraiser goes, make sure to check out my Instagram where you'll get updates. And I really hope we can make a difference together as a team. Now, before we do the run, there's just one more thing that I've got to do to get ready.
What are you doing on Sunday?
This Sunday, I'm going to be cutting off my hair, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of it. I'm going to be going down to a buzz cut, and I'm going to be doing this after church on Sunday. Other people are going to be able to donate and then have a go at buzzing my hair.
Great. What made you want to do it?
I am going to be donating my hair to a charity called the Little Princess Trust, and the reason I chose them is because throughout senior school, I was a little insecure about my hair. I was always worried about how it looked or how it was styled, and then once I grew it out, I remember having one haircut where I got bullied a little bit about looking like Lord Farquaad. And having known that kind of insecurity around hair just made me think, imagine battling cancer and then having no hair at the same time. So because of this, I want to be able to donate my hair, which I love my hair, but I don't need my hair as much as these kids battling cancer. And so I'm hoping it can go to one of them for a wig to boost their confidence throughout their school.
How are you feeling about cutting this?
Honestly, pretty terrified. I feel like my long hair is part of my identity, not only here on YouTube where I've always had long hair. Everyone I know now knows me as Toby with long hair. So having short hair is going to be like being a new person. It's like losing a part of my identity. So it's going to be a huge change. It's going to be drastic. But I'm also excited for this change. It's going to be a new season and we're doing it for a good cause. So, who wants to help me cut the ponytails off? Ponytails, you just want to basically trim it above the hairband. Have a pair of scissors, if that would be easier. There it is! Oh, that's crazy. There we go. Last one. It's coming, it's coming. There it is. Thank you. I don't want to see the pictures. I really don't. Okay.
Close enough.
Oh my word, that shot. Okay, just neaten up. Who next? Yeah, just hand it. Start handing it to people. I bet. I've got a beanie. But then when I put hats on, like normally with long hair, it kind of like slides on the hair, whereas this is going to get like stuck on the hair. Like it's going to hold everything in place. Yeah. It's been really weird.